start working. Yeah.
Now it is.
Nowadays, oh yeah. Let's see. Yeah, it's a very comfortable place. Not a lot of people. Some interest in lighting. I was pretty comfortable when I was in the morning getting to this conference. I was like, should I wear a pajama instead of a shirt? I just feel cozy today. I just want this relaxed Friday experience. I don't want to hustle too much. And then I think the pajama fits all of this. Now it's on. Okay. So yeah, I want to share a bit of stuff about launching a VR sequel that we got into early access on Steam this summer, July 24th or something. I would like to have 3 parts of it to be highlighted. First is product, second is community, third is live ops. All of them are interdependent, and it's going to be like a bit of a post-mortem with some qualitative insights I would like to share with you, discuss with you later, stuff like that. So, yeah, this word is going to follow me this weekend. Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, I will be making games until I die, which makes a part of my life really simple and certain. I have been making games for 12 years or something. I did narrative, sound, design, project management. Usually I just tell a bit of what I did, because after a certain number of items, people stop believing me. So I'm like, okay, this is gonna fit this presentation. So for CM games, I have a role of a general manager for an internal VR studio. And most of the time I'm responsible for answering questions like, what the hell are we going to do in 3 years? Where should we put all those millions of money we made? Like, why? And then talking to platforms, and then just managing stuff. I would like to highlight how our internal team structure is, because I'm just a proxy. I'm just a guy who can talk a bit better than other people, and the credit should be there where the credit is due. So right now, for the sequel, we have like a team of 28, 30 people, and like the core of the team is like 25, all disciplines, and we have like 4 leads, discipline leads. We also have like management. We have a game director, project manager, and a producer. And game director basically defines the vision for the game, execution. Producer and project manager are handling production. And then there is me, who's like just overseeing, listening to people, removing obstacles, introducing obstacles when it's needed. I call it herding cats. It's a classic phrase, but it's just on a scale of years. Yeah, this is what it is. Has anyone heard about Into the Radius? Please raise your hand. Okay, good, quite good. The pain was worth it. Yes, good. So Into the Radius 2, just as Into the Radius 1, in a nutshell, is just this fantasy of Stalker in VR, if you know the game Stalker. Fun fact, there's also a Stalker Street in Tallinn. Been there, just because the Stalker as a movie was shot in Tallinn in a few locations. And it's an immersive tactical shooter. I really love Hobby. Hobby was at the slides, in Rain Slides. It's one of the biggest VR Let's Players. And he gave us just a brilliant definition. It's like running a Spec Ops mission in a Salvador Dali painting. Basically, like, you go in a surreal world, it's an exclusion zone, you need to get in, avoid like obstacles, risks, you need to get stuff out, you need to return, there's realistic gun handling, there's the whole feeling of being in another reality. And this is the time to show the video, if is going to work. It's Hobby, and yeah, I would like just to highlight how players define the game for themselves. Should I put some? Yeah, please launch it. Okay. Of course. There's a advertisement. Okay. Okay, the time lapse did not work. Could you please go to the maybe minute 15? Yeah, the time code did not work. Yeah. Somewhere here, yeah. The sound is pretty low, but basically this is the footage of the co-op. Oh no, oh no, okay. Oh, now you see it. Okay, yeah, so
5 seconds ago.
Pause. Hello. I'm being impersonated, and I've tried 3 times and I can't get the account taken down. Skip to this time code if you could actually care less. I 100% understand, but I'm out of
I think it's gonna be some weird stuff. Yeah, no. Can you please pause it? Yeah, it didn't work out. So basically, what people say about this game when playing it is like full-fledged gameplay experience, tens of hours, deep simulation of like core systems. It's a game. This is not a game for motion sick people, yeah. And it's a game where you can smoke, where you can threat your friends with weapons. It's a game where, yeah, there are hostile entities out there, something like that along the lines. Yeah, let's go to the next. Oh. No. Yeah. So most of the time, you can enjoy those landscapes. And when I was speaking about this feeling of another reality, it's really the core driving use case that we're riding on. We feel like to overcome friction, to wish to overcome the friction, users should get this ultimate escapism experience. They should feel like they're in another reality, and this use case is pretty powerful for VR. There are others, and they are valid, but what we're pursuing is basically creating a feeling like you're in another place. And there's a lot of irrational stuff that goes in there, and a lot of kind of stuff that has resemblance to real world, but not so much. Because here, as you can see, we're using some like Saturn instead of a sun, and we're having the usual items that are distorted in a way that are still familiar to you, but feel otherworldly. And you can explore all that. So oftentimes you can find yourself looking at this and saying, oh, how beautiful it is. Also, oftentimes you can see this. Basically, hostile entities jumping at you, some weird stuff happening, and our players call bugs in the game anomalies. They're not bugs, they're anomalies. So there's a lot of... We never intended to make a horror game, and for some people, it feels like a horror game. And when I was speaking about this feeling of another reality, this is one of the best examples for it. So this creature behaves like an octopus or headcrab from Half-Life Alyx, but it is made of a film tape and scissors. Basically, you know what scissors are, and you know what film tape is, and then you know that it is dangerous. And by mixing all those items and entities together and putting them in the world that feels realistic, we kind of immerse you slowly. So the first part of it would be the product insights. First of all, Into the Radius 1 and 2 have a pretty big player fantasy. When I say big, I mean it's many things to many people. People want lots of stuff out of it. And yeah, just like Rain mentioned, we're pursuing a system-driven approach, as in a set of systems creating emergent outcomes, and every playthrough like can have situations that were not there before just because, oh, you took another route to the mission place, and then you saw another hostile entities. And then when you add another person in there, the number of cases just grows. It was our first sequel, and we were very privileged to finally have kind of proper pre-production stage, meaning like half a year of answering tough questions like, should we even do sequel? What should be there? What should we improve? And we went with a pretty boring way. We were just like seeing that people want the same thing, just a new iteration of it, just a better iteration of it, maybe deepening some systems, but nothing radical was needed. And happily, our game director was also motivated, and it was his desire to make a sequel. So the very first insight I would like to highlight is this, like, deciding to have the boring stuff as a guideline. Again, stuff. This what helped us immensely, because I do think that there is an illusion that if you're making something for the second time, it's going to be feeling the same like for the first time. No, the times are changing, expertise is changing. We saw what's working in the game, what's not working in the game. So we just had this goal of delivering the same core experience, just again. And it helped a lot, because we decided not to reinvent the wheel. We were pretty off with our estimation for the gameplay time for early access. We were thinking like, yeah, maybe 7 hours is the best we can do. And then because of system-driven nature, because of the updated systems, like we were off by, I don't know, maybe someone could you guess? Like we thought it's gonna be 7. How much do you think it was?
15.
You are freaking absolutely right. It's 15 hours. On average, it's 15 hours. And that was the first moment where we're like, oh, this is where we were wrong at. And it's an extremely lucky mistake to have, because if it would be another way, we were screwed. So another thing that I think went pretty fine is setting up a high price right at the start, right at early access, not changing it later, because we feel like in the current market situation, the discount opportunity is much more valuable than the volume of sales, especially in VR, since it still could be defined as niche. Also, before rolling out the version into early access, we were thinking like, what will be our priorities? Will people be interested in co-op as well? Like, will they even play it? And co-op was a big, big addition to the sequel. Of course, it's like a big fantasy, and players were asking us about co-op almost every day, back in the time where we were like updating the first game. And after we rolled it out, it only became a question of when do we roll out stuff. Yeah, it was not a question, what should we do? And one of the insights regarding co-op was that like we were wrong about the number of players who would be actually playing co-op. I know some people here already know the number, but I would like to ask you, like in a single-player game, in your opinion, with a 2 players co-op, how many players would play co-op? 10%, 50%. This time you're wrong, but no, let's go here. Okay, yeah, it was 40%. So basically 40% of people were enjoying co-op, which was much higher than we expected. And we're like, okay, we should maybe try to prioritize this thing. Although we do limit it to 2 players now, and we don't want to make it like a PvPe thingy. It's like you and your buddy against the whole world, so to speak. And yeah, we were really wrong about the complexity of co-op, because co-op just increases time, the amount of bags, I think 5 times more. Like X5 is what you get when you're like, oh yeah, let's introduce co-op. Yes, let's. This is a tool that analyzes all the reviews on the Steam page and just gets the most popular keywords, positive and negative. This is just to showcase what people were talking about or mentioning. And it's a funny thing that there are the words that are on the left and highlighted as positive are also highlighted as negative. Maybe except for bugs. Yeah, it's like devs, bugs, gun, all this stuff. It's a really nice review tool. If you're interested, I can tell you about it after the lecture, after my talk. So yeah, we kind of get we were really we had a privilege of hitting the player expectations, and for us it's important because community is an integral part of what we do. I will gonna talk to it a bit later. Yeah. Another thing is live ops. We were pretty sure we're gonna update the game, we're gonna have this re-engagement points, even if we have a premium game, because I was really inspired by Hades in 2019 and how they did things on Epic Game Store. And I was thinking, yeah, this is a model to de-risk the premium game development. And this is a model to have multiple points of engaging people. And this is a thing, if it grows on a high market, and the Quest 2 market and the round was pretty high market, if you just keep updating it, it's gonna grow and grow up to a certain limit. And this is what kind of happened. Also, early access for us is kind of like a role-playing game. What do I mean by that? It's almost a show, and you almost perform in it. You're like, here's what we think about. Here's our thoughts. Here's our questions to you. Here's where we are wrong. Here's a raw version of something. Here is a bit of drama for you. We don't do it like specifically, like writing a script for the performance, but it's a lot. I have this analogy with kitchen gastronomy. Like, not every restaurant shows you how they make the stuff you're going to eat, but there are definitely those restaurants when you can enjoy seeing the preparation of food. And early access is a lot about that. We were also quite fortunate to have like beta experiences and rolling out lots and lots of betas. And we're doing live ops also because like the system-driven, complex game in VR with a realistic world is just, it's impossible to have it stable. You can fix bugs for 3 years, you will not find them all. So we prefer just to roll it out, and we prefer polished experience to information. Information always wins. Yeah, this is one of the examples. With the height and accessibility, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in VR that goes wrong if you're higher or lower. I will break the pattern of filming, maybe bury it into the ground so deep. I come from a medical background, so when games get closer to the body, I was actually happy because now we speak my language, the language that I'm proficient with. But yeah, there's a lots of use cases just spawning because our bodies are different. And the main kind of insight I would like to highlight is the sequel went fairly successful, not because there's a VR market for it or something. It's the critical factor is that throughout 4 years, we were building community and we were honest with them. We were sharing early stuff with them, and we were not trying to hide anything. And when we were failing, as like, oh, we cannot deliver modding to you, we were getting out and telling them that, yes, there was drama, there was stuff like that, but the long-term reputation allows you to sell 50K copies in 1 week and a half after you, like when you launch in a dead season, which is summer for VR, for example. Yes, so now we have this distribution channel. And this is the most important thing to have there. And it's based on trust. The important thing here is not to, it's a classic thing, not to implement what players tell you to implement, but rather analyzing how did they get to the experience that they're sharing with you, and what should be changed in systems, because we basically give you a box that generates a certain experience for you. And one funny thing about that is what I see oftentimes, our game is scary to many people. Our game is dangerous, unknown, some people really invest in it. And scary games lead to supportive community because people try to comfort each other. That's one warm thing. And just working with community allows to overcome certain limits and biases that we have as developers, because we would never guess that people want to hold hands in the game, in co-op. What design process would lead you to understanding that? There is no design process like that. Or some heartwarming moments, of like a child writing to us and asking, hey, is there going to be a katana in your game? Or we're like, yeah, let's make them a postcard and send it to them and just make their heart warm. So yeah, it makes community-driven development makes things meaningful. And I have 3 seconds, and yeah, this is a perfect time, and thank you.